Initials MS from UK, London. For someone who is, for example, an extreme Shia / Sufi and does things that would make him a kafir after evidence has been established, etc., but he believes he is a Muslim and identifies as a Muslim, could he, in a Sunni land, be punished for apostasy even though he still believes he is a Muslim?
Right. The question is coming from the UK? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Someone who is an extreme Shiite / extreme Sufi. Both. I don't know how that's possible. Allah knows best. I don't know how that's possible. Whereas, Allahu Alam, I don't know. Is it known that the Sufis say the things that the Shia people say? Is that known? Have you ever heard of that? Sufis cursing the companions, denying the qadr and things like this? Allahu Alam. I don't know. I don't know. Let's say the person mixed both madhabs, for argument's sake. They mix both. Method, right? For argument's sake. They mix what? Both of them. So, can they be a kafir? Are they considered to be kuffar? Will they be punished in the Muslim lands in which they still profess Islam, so on and so on and so forth? The answer to the question lies in the historical context of the dawah of Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. The answer to the question lies in the historical context of the dawah of Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab rahimahullah. He considered these acts to be major kufr based off of the Quran and Sunnah, and those who do them and perform them after it's been made clear to them, explained to them, so on and so forth, are no longer Muslim. They are apostates. And if they are apostates, then under the Islamic banner of the Islamic State, then they deserve capital punishment. Their wealth is permissible, their blood is no longer sacred, their honor, etc. And those people who said, no, it's not kufr, it's not shirk, we can't go to the graves, we can't make tawaf, we can, we're still Muslims. And other scholars who said that what they're doing is clearly wrong. You're right, Ibn Abdul Wahhab, that's wrong, but you can't say they're kuffar. Because his name is Mustafa, and his name is Abdul Qadir, and his name is Ali, and her name is Fatima, and so on and so forth. They've been Muslims for years, their family members, their grandparents. How can you say they're kuffar? But we acknowledge that what they're doing is wrong. Ibn Abdul Wahhab, he said, if they continue and they persist upon the kufr and shirk, which is akbar, based off of Quran and Sunnah, they are no longer Muslims. It's that simple. So it depends on where you are, what country, whose ruling you're under, and what they consider to be kufr and shirk akbar, etc. The proof being established, so on and so forth. Everyone understand this? In the Western countries, there is no capital punishment for someone apostating. You become a Muslim by free will, free choice. You leave Islam by free will and free choice. We don't commit acts of violence because someone leaves Islam in the UK or the United States or Australia or any place like this. All right? Just like you don't establish any other hudud. That is for the legitimate Islamic ruler who has the absolute power in the land. You understand this? And Allah knows best.
Initials MR from Wiltshire, UK. What does وَذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ Maryam and remember in the book Maryam and Surah Maryam mean? Who is Allah ordering to remember Maryam and in what book?
Tell you, where's the question coming from? Wiltshire, from the UK. Allah is talking to the Prophet ﷺ. وَذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ and remember Mary, when she conceived Isa, and when she ran from her people, and when she gave birth to Isa, and when they saw her, and they said what they said to her, فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ and she pointed towards Isa in the cradle, and he spoke, etc. Remember her, something which is well known in the previous scriptures. In the previous what? Scriptures. The miraculous conception of Isa, or they call Christ, Jesus Christ. It's that simple. So Allah is talking to the Prophet ﷺ, and the command is for us as well. Allah knows best.
Initials WB from Overland Park, Kansas. A Assalamu alaikum Mufti. At the masjid I go to, there's a brother that holds classes for reverts. However, he is severely lacking in knowledge. Should I sit with him?
Question is from Kansas.
And
Type. Someone who is given a class for revert Muslims, but the brother is severely lacking in knowledge, can I sit with him, so on and so forth? Give him advice. Advise him to learn. If you have a desire to teach and help revert Muslims, alhamdulillah, that's fine. But you have to learn some things yourself. And you do not have to be a scholar. It is not a condition that you have to be Ibn al-Qayyim to teach a class for revert Muslims. But the condition is that you have some basic knowledge. And number two, you do not step beyond your boundaries. This is the basic knowledge that I have. This is the book that we're learning. Oftentimes a class for new Muslims could just be reading out the book. Or you teaching them and showing them the small basic things that you know. You don't have to be Ibn Taymiyyah teaching them. You don't have to be Ibn Taymiyyah to give a khutbah. You don't have to be Ibn Taymiyyah to answer a question, to give a class to Muslims, let alone to revert Muslims. So let's not overcomplicate things. That's not what? You don't have to be a graduate from Islamic University of Medina to teach a basic class. That is not a condition. We do not believe that. Everyone understand this? But you have to know some basics, and you have to have the ability not to overextend your boundaries. And you have to make sure that the information that you have, the basic fundamental information, is accurate. As long as it's accurate, teach the class. So if the brother is extremely ignorant and extremely lacking, then give them advice not to teach the class, to refrain from teaching the class until he locks down a few basic things. Then he can do the class. And if he refuses, or if he says, okay, you're right, maybe you should do the class, then you do the class. What's important is someone has to teach the revert Muslims. And oftentimes revert Muslims don't always need a ton of information. Just like the everyday Muslim doesn't always need a ton of information. Doesn't always need a ton of information. Everyone understand this? Sometimes they just need a basic reminder. Or sometimes they just need someone to be their friend, to be there for them, to show them the ropes. This is how you make wudu. Shafi'i, Ahmed, Bismillah, bang, bang, bang. Simple. That you can be a Muslim and still have a career. You can be a Muslim and still have fun. You can be a Muslim and keep relations with your family. You can be a Muslim and work out. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone understand this? So we don't need to overcomplicate what? Things. And Allah knows best.
Shifa'i from Munich, Germany. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah Mufti. If you break an oath out of forgetfulness, do you have to offer kafara?
رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا. Anyone who forgets something, they're not held responsible for that act. They're not held responsible for something that you what? Forget about. And Allah knows best.
Assalamu alaikum Mufti. Long live the Emperor and the Empire. Initials AW from Hollis, Queens.
Abdul Wadud. Clearly.
Is there any proof of any kind that says that hijab is the haqq of the husband?
Any proof? With regards to a man marrying a woman?
Is there any proof of any kind that
Clear. I get the question. I get the question. A man marries a woman, and it is as if the sister wants to wear the hijab in a certain way, and the husband tells her to wear it in a what? A different way. That's what I understand from the question, right? In general, the man is the maintainer of the woman. He's the sustainer of the woman, all right? So if he's maintaining her and sustaining her and protecting her to the best of his means, then of course, he's going to have a say-so on how she leaves the house. Let alone the fact that the man is supposed to be the imam. Hypothetically speaking, no sisters take offense, but hypothetically speaking, the man is supposed to be more learned than the wife. In most cases, he's supposed to be the teacher too. So she may be doing something and it's cultural. And he may know that it's impermissible to wear this, or to have this perfume, or to have this type thing, or this type of earrings, or these shoes. She may not know that. And if she does know it, it's his job to remind her. It's his job to do what? Remind her. Even if she is making the money, and she's in charge, and she's wearing the izar in the house, unfortunately. This is many times just like this in many homes. The reminder still benefits the what? Believer. So a sister may say, I pay my own bills. I buy my clothes. I make more money than you. Who are you to tell me what I can and cannot do, how I can and cannot dress? Okay, you do, no problem. But I'm still reminding you. I'm still what? I'm still reminding. Can a poor person not remind a rich person? Can a student not remind his what? His teacher? Or correct his teacher? Mufti, you made a mistake when you said this, or when you recited this. Your qalqala is not. Everyone understand this? Let me know if you want me to give you some Quran classes. Statements have been made by students in this masjid. And maybe, rightfully, so be it. What's the problem? Everyone understand this? So I don't see any way of getting out of it. And then once again, using wisdom. Everyone understand this? One may say, well, we're not living in the medieval centuries. You're not in a hut. You don't bring home a deer and drop it in front of the hearth and say, cook, woman. Okay, no problem. A woman is independent. She's this. She's modern. Is the reminder going to hurt her? And I don't think there's a Muslim woman who's going to reject the reasonable advice of her loving, caring husband. As long as that advice is what? Reasonable. Based off of Quran, Sunnah, and common sense. Do your clothes have to be that tight, honey? I can see you're such and such in the house. Let alone every time Dick and Harry on the streets. I don't think no Muslim sister is going to go against reasonable advice. And Allah knows best.
Initials AF from Manchester, UK. What is your advice for a grown man who hasn't done much in life and doesn't know what path to go down? They feel they're lacking in terms of deen and dunya.
Repeat the question, please.
What is your advice for a grown man?
Where is it from?
Manchester.
Manchester, UK, okay.
What is your advice for a grown man who hasn't done much in life and doesn't know what path to go down?
Okay.
They feel they're lacking in terms of deen and dunya.
Okay. Tight. My advice to a grown man who hasn't done much in life and he's confused about what path he should go down. He's lacking in the deen and the dunya, etc. Alhamdulillah, you realize that. Alhamdulillah for that. How many of us don't realize that we're lacking? How many of us think that we're strong and tough and smart and knowledgeable and handsome? We think that we're fly. And we don't realize that there's someone who's stronger, richer, more learned, flyer, etc. How many of us are duped and tricked? And we become fools by our own selves thinking that we got it. So you realize that you're lacking. You realize that there's work that needs to be done. You realize that there's something which is missing. Alhamdulillah for that. Alhamdulillah for what? For that. And as long as you look down on yourself and you have the proper self-criticism, not the extreme self-criticism, then there's hope for you. There's hope for you. So sit down and ask yourself, what would I like to do in life? I've never traveled. I would like to go see the Kaaba. I would like to get married. I would like to have something of my own one day, own something. I would like to have a legacy, pass on something to my kids. Sit down and think about what you want to do in life. And then be ta'ala, seek Allah's help and taking the practical, realistic steps of turning that into reality. I want to go to Mecca and Medina. Make sure you have a job, start saving money. I want to have children, look for a righteous wife. I want to be able to give a khutbah one day. That was my dream from childhood. I've never done it. Start learning, start studying. Make the practical steps, ta'ala, to make your dreams come true. And you don't know what is the qadr. You don't know what Allah has decreed for you until you actually attempt and try. You don't know what dreams may be a part of your destiny. You have to fulfill them, ta'ala. That's my advice.
Initials OS from Columbia, Missouri. Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. May Allah preserve you. What is considered awrah for a woman in front of other women and her mahrams?
Question comes from Missouri. What is considered awrah in front of other women and in front of male mahrams? Some scholars, they say different things. Some of them, they say different things. And I don't think there's no need to mention those things right now on the live stream. Some of the things that some ulama say is not awrah of a woman in front of another woman. All right? At the end of the day, dress modestly. Dress modestly. And the modest dress that you have, it doesn't have to be extreme, in which you're not allowed to look nice and you're not allowed to be fashionable. It doesn't mean that. Of course, every culture differs, time differs, age class differs, body type differs. Some women have different bodies. No matter what they wear, something is going to be seen and noticed. Some sisters have different body types in which they don't have to, it's not much that's out there. So it differs. What's important is be modest and be balanced. Be balanced and be modest, okay? So if you have a tea party with the sisters or a dress-up party with the sisters, if that's permissible, Allahu Alam. You have some type of gathering, sisters come over your house, you don't have to necessarily go out wearing a niqab and gloves. Nor do you go out with your sisters or your girlfriends, the sister spends the night over your house, and you're wearing a halter top and some crazy shorts, we'll say that. Huh? Everyone understand this? In which your body is revealed and exposed. It's short, tight, and transparent. That's a problem. So you don't have to necessarily go in front of the sisters covering everything, nor are you allowed to just wear what? Whatever you want. There's a balance. There's a balance. So bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, cover your entire body. If your hands are out, if your forearms are out, if your feet are out, if your ankles are out, if your shins are out, your hair is out, your neck is out, la bas. If it's a formal party, or a really dressy party, and some sisters have their shoulders out, perhaps someone can say that's permissible. And others may say it's impermissible to show the shoulders. Some may hold the view that it's what? Impermissible. And others may have the view that it's permissible for a woman to expose her shoulders, her arms, in front of another woman, like a nice dress. Everyone understand this? As far as wearing tight clothes, it depends on what type of tight clothes they are. All right? As I said, it depends on the body type. Everyone understand this? Al-Muhim, be modest and be balanced. As far as in front of your mahram, male family members, similar rules, but obviously the ring is tighter. The ring is what? It's tighter. It's not as broad. This is your father, your son, your brother, your uncle, your stepson, whatever, whoever the mahram is, whatever the case may be. You can't wear everything that you could normally wear in front of other women. But it's not as well, it isn't the same as someone who's in the streets. It isn't the same as what? Someone who's what? In the streets. So one could possibly say, if it's your father, put on a hijab with your head out, your neck out, your hands are out, and your feet are out. La bas. Push come to shove, you had a short sleeve house dress on. Tayyib, la bas. No mushkila. A short sleeve dress, not with your shoulders out, nothing tight and hugging and fitting. A short sleeve dress is down to at least your shanks, your shins, la bas. You have on makeup in the house, your father sees you, your brother sees you, la bas. Perfume, jewelry, la bas. Huh? Last but not least, what some of the ulama of Islam say is that it depends on the mahram as well. All mahrams are not created equal. There's some mahrams who may not be married. The mahram who's married is not like someone who's not married. The mahram who's pious is not like someone who's what? Wicked. The mahram who has mental illness is not like the mahram who is mentally sound. It depends on the mahram. It depends on the age of the mahram. A mahram who's 60, 70 is not like a mahram who's 20. A mahram who's known you from a little child is not like a mahram who you just encountered. You just got married, the marriage was consummated, so on and so forth. Everyone understand this? There's a difference. There's a difference between the type and the level of mahram. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala surely knows best. Jazakumullahu khairan. Subhanakallahumma hamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.